Summer is such a great time to work on sewing and knitting projects. The days are longer, we often have a little bit more free time, maybe some vacation time, and there's just a lot of creative energy. But I've noticed that a lot of the things we're inspired to make during summer don't actually get that much wear, as by the time that we've finished creating the project, it's almost fall. So in this video, I'm going to share with you a few projects that are perfect to sew or knit during the summertime that you can still get a lot of use out of during the summertime, but that will also transition really well into fall. So whether you sew, knit, or both, these are all pieces that work across seasons and that will actually earn a place in your handmade wardrobe. When I think about making something that I'm actually going to wear year-round, it typically comes down to two things. The first being how layerable it is, and the second, fabric and color choice. So in this video, I've grouped these ideas into a few different groups. The first, layerable tops. The second, lightweight cardigans or jackets. And the third, skirts and dresses. I'll also talk a little bit about fiber and color choice because those do have a big impact on how often something gets worn. You don't need to sew or knit an entire new wardrobe for summer or for any season. You just need a few thoughtful pieces that really do work year-round. So let's start with one of the most versatile things that you can make, a good layerable top. There are a few different types of these tops, but I'm going to start with my personal favorite, and that is the oversized button-up shirt. Obviously, these can be worn on their own when it's really hot out. They can be made of very lightweight materials like cotton or linen. They provide a loose, comfortable silhouette while also giving you some protection from the sun. They're great as a layering piece over a swimsuit. You can wear them with shorts or pants. You can wear them over dresses. You can tie them around the waist, over a simple tank or t-shirt dress. They really are such a versatile piece for summer, but they also transition into the other seasons really well. In the fall, for instance, an oversized button-up shirt can work really beautifully underneath a sweater or a blazer, and I truly do wear my oversized button-up shirts year-round. I think it's a wonderful project to do in the summertime when you may have a little bit of extra daylight or free time. There are lots of fun details that you can add to them, and they really will be a core staple piece for summer as well as fall and year-round. A couple of patterns that I really love for an oversized button-up. You have the closet cord Jenna, which is really classic in its styling. It's quite long, but they also offer a cropped and a dress version. And I really love the Modern Sewing Company unisex shirt, which is what I'm wearing today. I've made this in my true size, which is a small, but the one I'm wearing today is an extra large. So it's a really versatile pattern. I love all of the clean finishings. I would definitely recommend both of those. Another really great versatile layerable top is a knit vest. Now I know vests are kind of having a moment again, but they really are so practical because they're very layerable. So if you were to knit a vest in the summertime that's maybe a cotton merino blend or a cotton linen even, you could wear it on its own as a top during the summer. But then as we transition into fall and winter, you can easily layer that over button-up shirts or even a turtleneck if you needed more warmth. I think a knit vest is a very practical piece to make. And also it's a good summer project because it doesn't take as long as knitting a sweater, for instance. So it's something that you could probably do in a month's time. It's very compact, so it's portable and great for travel. I think knitting a vest is a perfect summer project. A couple of patterns that I've knit that I really like. If you're going for a crew neck, I really enjoyed knitting the vest number 1. I have also knit a V-neck vest. I chose to do the Stockholm slip-over V-neck vest. And then there's the light jacket, the kind that you put on in the evening in July, but that you're still reaching for in October. I think whether you choose a soft chore coat style, maybe even a lightweight quilted jacket, or a more loose and flowy kimono style jacket, maybe a cropped blazer that's made in a lightweight suiting. Whatever the material or the aesthetic that you would choose, I think a lightweight jacket is a perfect summer project because it's directly going to translate into the fall months. They're highly layerable. Again, I think layerability is one of the main factors to consider. Some patterns that I really like, I've been really drawn to the Painter Jacket collab with Merchant and Mills. This raglan style coat by Emily Lightly that's going to be released very soon. It's called the Marzipan Maker's Coat. That's a great option. Or even the Wixton Haori or Unfolding Jacket. Yeah, there's a lot of different light jacket options that I think would be perfect for summer and transition really nicely into layering in fall. Similar to the light jacket that you might want to sew, I think knitting a lighter weight cardigan is a really great option for a summer knitting project. For the same reason, right? Whether you make it in a wool or a cotton or linen or bamboo, whichever fiber composition that you choose, I think a cardigan is a really great option for a summer knitting project. Again, it functions the same way that a light jacket does, and it's incredibly layerable, so it's going to transition very well into the fall. So if you're looking to knit a cardigan this summer, a couple of patterns that I really like and I'm kind of considering too are cardigan number 8 by My Favorite Things Knitwear. I really like the neckline on that one. The Eva cardigan by Petite Knit is a V-neck style if you would prefer a V-neck cardigan. Florence Miller has the step-by-step cardigan. There really are so many available, and you can kind of tailor it to the fit that you want. But again, very layerable. If you make it in like a plant-based fiber, I think it would work really well for summertime and transition really nicely into the cooler seasons too. Now let's talk about skirts and dresses. I think these are a really easy, natural choice for summertime. They're incredibly breezy and lightweight and really perfect for the heat of summer, but they also can transition really well into the cooler months if you choose the right fabric and silhouette. Also with skirts and dresses, similar to the layerable tops and lightweight jackets, a lot of the transition has to do with styling. So in the summertime, for instance, maybe you would wear a cotton maxi skirt with flip-flops or sneakers, but in the fall you could very easily add like a colorful pair of tights or socks and boots. So a lot of the transition from summer to fall is going to involve layering and accessories, but I do think that things like color choice and fabric choice are also really important to consider. For dresses in particular, I think that a sleeveless dress or a tank style dress is very versatile because it's easy to layer. You can put it over the top of a button-up shirt or a turtleneck or a long sleeve in the fall, and a dress without sleeves in general, you could layer more easily underneath things, like if you wanted to put a sweater or a cardigan on top of it in the fall. So I would look for sleeveless dresses. And with skirts, I really think like a loose A-line or maxi length skirt is going to be very versatile because again, you could put tights underneath it later. And if you choose something that is more fitted, it might be harder to layer things underneath it. I also think elastic waist skirts or dresses that don't have tightly fitted bodices, but things that have a little bit more room, again, you're going to be able to layer things underneath it a lot more easily. So a couple of skirt and dress patterns that I really like. Hinterland dress, which is by So Liberated, might be a good option. It does have a tank view. There's also the Modern Sewing Co. Sienna dress, which I think is really beautiful, and it has these like nice detailed pleats at the front. For skirts, there are a ton of elastic waist maxi skirts, A-line skirts available. There are lots of free ones available too, and you could go for like the tiered gathered skirt if you're into that sort of aesthetic, but you could also go for something a little bit more streamlined, like a silky skirt that's a little bit more A-line might work well. I recently made a free pattern, which is Swim Style Patterns Connie skirt, that I think works really well for kind of a silky, more fluid, drapey fabric. And that would transition really nicely into fall with things like a little chore coat or a cardigan. So I definitely would recommend being mindful of the silhouette of the dress. And I think the more streamlined the silhouette, the more layerable it's going to be. So a note about fiber or fabric and color choice and their ability to transition from season to season. I think summertime, it can be really fun to dive into like print and pattern and maybe florals or stripes or things that are really punchy and make you think of resort wear or, you know, fun summer vacation style prints and patterns. And while I encourage you to have fun, I do think if you're trying to make a piece that you want to span multiple seasons, it might be better to go with solid color, or if it's a print, something more classic like a stripe, as opposed to say like a big tropical or floral print, because that might not work as well in November as it would in August. As for the content of the fiber or fabric, I really recommend natural fibers. And whether you're knitting with wool or cotton or linen, all of those fabrics transition really well to cooler seasons, because while they are breathable, they also help with regulating body temperature, and that works both for heat and cold. So whether you're sewing or knitting, things like cotton, linen, lightweight wools, like if you're making a blazer, you could get a really lightweight wool suiting or even a wool linen blend, and that's going to be incredibly wearable in the fall as well as in the heat of summer. Things like polyester are not breathable. They're going to make you uncomfortable whatever the season. So I would definitely consider natural fibers, particularly when you're talking about layering and year-round practicality. So those are some of my thoughts about projects that hopefully you could be really excited to make sewing or knitting during the summer months, but also that will transition very easily into fall and winter. So hopefully this has been inspiring or enjoyable, at least to watch. Thank you guys so much for spending some time with me today. And if you enjoyed this video, please consider subscribing so that you don't miss out on any of my other content. I will chat with you guys in the next one very soon.